Do you want to invite the Black Spirit Clan to join the martial realm? The Grand Elder, upon hearing Lin Dong's words, spoke in a calm tone. Given the current state of the Black Spirit Clan, I believe you should have a rough understanding of the situation. Lin Dong's expression remained unchanged as he listened to the Black Spirit Clan's Grand Elder continue. The Black Spirit Clan spent tens of thousands of years recovering their vitality from the past, but even so, compared to the ancient times, the Black Spirit Clan today is still much weaker. One reason for this is indeed because they haven't communicated with the outside world. To use your words, it could be said that they are unable to see beyond the tip of their nose. But do you know another reason? The Grand Elder asked Lin Dong. I do, Lin Dong replied, and his response clearly took the Grand Elder by surprise. You know? The Grand Elder asked, his voice tinged with doubt. How? The Black Spirit Clan suffered tremendous damage during the world-ending war, and this damage wasn't just surface level. It was a deep, catastrophic wound, Lin Dong said. If I am not mistaken, most of the current members of the Black Spirit Clan have an exceptionally cold and sinister constitution. For countless of them, this physique has become like a bone-eating virus. Lin Dong's words left everyone in stunned silence, and not far away, He Ming looked utterly horrified. The Black Spirit Clan had been in isolation for tens of thousands of years, so how could anyone from the outside world possibly know about them? Indeed, the members of the Black Spirit Clan suffer terribly because of this cold and sinister constitution. And it's not just the majority who have it. It is nearly all of them, the Grand Elder confirmed. This cold and sinister constitution, it must have been caused by a depletion of their bloodline, right? Lin Dong asked. The Grand Elder narrowed his eyes slightly. The Black Spirit Clan has been using this bloodline since ancient times. Back then, we never heard of such a thing. All members of the clan relied on this bloodline to gain exceptional talents. In ancient times, the Black Spirit Clan's bloodline was perfect. The power of the bloodline was strong enough to suppress the cold and sinister elements within it. It was this balance that allowed the Black Spirit Clan to thrive like never before, Lin Dong explained. But during the world-ending war, the foreign tribes launched a devastating attack on the Black Spirit Clan, and I believe the bloodline must have been severely damaged in the process. Yes, the Black Spirit Clan's bloodline was indeed corrupted by the sinister foreign powers, the Grand Elder said, showing no hesitation in his words. Afterward, our predecessors sacrificed their lives to eliminate the evil influence left by the foreign tribes. In the statues behind you, there are several who perished because of this. While the sinister power was successfully removed, the bloodline of the Black Spirit Clan was left fractured and almost depleted. It could no longer suppress the cold and sinister elements that had always been within it. The eruption of this cold power is the real cause of the Black Spirit Clan's downfall. I see, Lin Dong said, finally understanding the root cause of the Black Spirit Clan's decline. The recovery of the Black Spirit Clan is essentially the recovery of its bloodline. And bloodline restoration is a long process. Even though they've spent over 10,000 years, at most, they have only recovered less than 1/3 of it. To restore the bloodline's power to a level that can suppress the cold power, it must be at least halfway restored. At the current rate of recovery, it will take about another 10,000 years. By then, the Black Spirit Clan may re-emerge into the Great Thousand Worlds, the Grand Elder explained. In this situation, the Black Spirit Clan has chosen to isolate themselves, not engaging with the outside world, to avoid further damage to the already fragile 1/3 of their bloodline. To gain something, there is always a risk, isn't there? Lin Dong said. If the Black Spirit Clan continues to remain isolated, they will gain nothing. Even if they manage to recover after 10,000 years, there's still one major condition, that the foreign evil tribes don't launch another world-ending war within that time. You're right, the Grand Elder admitted. The Black Spirit Clan is in such a state now, and whatever they do will depend on luck. There are two choices. The first is for the Black Spirit Clan to continue isolating themselves, which has two possible outcomes. One is that in 10,000 years, their bloodline will recover halfway, and the second is that the foreign evil tribes will launch another attack on the Great Thousand Worlds during that time, and the Black Spirit Clan will suffer another blow, perhaps even be wiped out. If the Black Spirit Clan forms an alliance with the martial realm, there are also two possible outcomes, Lin Dong interjected, presenting the other risky choice. If this alliance fails, the Black Spirit Clan will be at risk of annihilation. If it succeeds, the Black Spirit Clan will gain strength comparable to their prime in ancient times. I don't understand what you're saying, the Grand Elder replied. Even if the alliance succeeds, the Black Spirit Clan might not grow stronger. No, it will change. Lin Dong looked at all the people gathered here and said something that left everyone shocked. I have a way to eliminate the cold and gloomy constitution of the Black Spirit Clan. As soon as Lin Dong's words spread, everyone present was stunned. He Ming and many of the elders looked at Lin Dong with skeptical eyes, then glanced at the Grand Elder, seemingly waiting for his response. After everyone fell silent, the Grand Elder finally spoke to Lin Dong, saying, "To be honest, over the past 10,000 years, in order to eliminate the cold and gloomy power hidden within the bloodline, I have paid a huge price. I have visited the Fire Spirit Clan, Ice Spirit Clan, and other Upper Spirit Clans, hoping to use the power of other races to eliminate the cold force. I even traveled throughout the Wandan continent and other parts of the Great Thousand Worlds, hoping to suppress this cold force using medicinal pills. But all methods failed. After 10,000 years of searching, I have finally discovered a way to eliminate this cold force. Heh, can you guess what it is?" The Grand Elder smiled at Lin Dong and said, "This method is to completely abandon the bloodline power of the Black Spirit Clan. The cold and gloomy force is contained within the bloodline. If the bloodline itself is discarded, then the cold force will naturally disappear." Upon hearing the Grand Elder's words, Lin Dong's eyes narrowed again. He knew that the Black Spirit Clan could never abandon the bloodline passed down from their ancestors. Even if it was damaged, it was still a symbol left by their ancestors. To abandon the bloodline would mean abandoning their very identity. Without the bloodline, the Black Spirit Clan itself would cease to exist. Now, do you still think you have a way to eliminate this cold force? The Grand Elder asked Lin Dong. Lin Dong remained silent for a moment, his head lowered as if he was contemplating something. Over at the side, Ling Qingzhu and Qing Tan both looked at him with great concern. When Lin Dong had first mentioned having a way to eliminate the cold force, Qing Tan had already understood his plan. Lin Dong was intending to use the ancestral stone, just like before, to absorb the cold force. But the situation was different this time. When Qing Tan had been affected by the cold force, she had not possessed the bloodline of the Black Spirit Clan. Eliminating the cold force without damaging the bloodline was incredibly difficult. However, after a few moments of contemplation, Lin Dong finally raised his head slowly, and his next words left everyone once again stunned. "I do have a way to resolve this cold constitution. I wonder if anyone present would be willing to give it a try." Lin Dong spoke to the countless people around him, but everyone still regarded him with doubtful gazes. For several dozen breaths, not a single person responded. At that moment, a sharp sound of wind tore through the air, and then, under everyone's gaze, a figure dressed in black slowly descended from the sky. This person was holding a young girl in their arms, and the identity of the person sent a shockwave through everyone present. It was none other than their clan leader, He Ming, and the girl in his arms was his daughter, He Linger. He Ming's appearance not only stunned the high-ranking elders and countless powerful individuals, but even the Grand Elder was momentarily taken aback. "This is the most dangerous thing I've ever done. As clan leader, it's my responsibility to take on such risks for everyone," He Ming said to the crowd. "At the same time, this is a hopeful matter. As clan leader, if I can open this hope for the entire Black Spirit Clan, it would be an honor." Everyone understood the meaning behind He Ming's words. He was willing to take a gamble, and his wager was his own daughter. It wasn't a heartless decision. Everyone knew how much He Ming loved his daughter. For him to use her as a bet showed just how determined he was. Lin Dong looked at the figure before him and the delicate little girl in his arms. For some reason, as he gazed at her, Lin Dong suddenly thought of someone far away, billions of miles away. Huan Huan from the Ice Spirit Clan must be about 5 or 6 years old now. "Linger, do you know what your father wants you to do?" He Ming asked his daughter in his arms. He Linger blinked her large, dark eyes and, holding her finger in her mouth, looked at Lin Dong before saying, "This big brother doesn't seem to be from our clan." "That's right, he's from outside our clan. But he can remove the illness inside you. Do you want him to?" Hei Ming asked Hei Ling'er. Hei Ling'er innocently nodded her head. "If it's dangerous, would you be scared?" Hei Ming asked again. "No, I'm not afraid. Daddy is here." Hei Ling'er shook her head, then tilted her head to look at Lin Dong. Hei Ming gave a helpless smile, gently placing Hei Ling'er down, before turning to Lin Dong. "My daughter, I leave her in your care." Lin Dong could hear the weight in Hei Ming's words, but his response was full of confidence. "Don't worry, I will succeed." A gamble, one that would determine the fate of the entire Black Spirit clan, was about to unfold on this very square. After entrusting his daughter, Hei Ling'er, to Lin Dong, Hei Ming stepped back to the edge of the square, taking the previously suppressed elder Hei Lu out of the square. "Clan leader, this is far too risky, isn't it?" Hei Lu, now pulled outside the square, spoke urgently to Hei Ming. He had witnessed the conversation between the Grand Elder and Lin Dong, so he knew exactly what Lin Dong planned to do next. "This concerns the bloodline inheritance of the Black Spirit clan. I have no choice. Though I feel guilty toward Ling'er," Hei Ming said. "But clan leader, what if he takes this opportunity to imprison Ling'er and use her to threaten the entire Black Spirit clan?" Hei Lu remained worried. After all, he had just experienced Lin Dong's strength firsthand. Hei Ming glanced at Hei Lu, his gaze sharp, carrying a sense of resolve. "If that happens, I'll make sure he stays with the Black Spirit clan forever." "Humph, I doubt he would dare," Hei Lu snorted coldly. Meanwhile, on another edge of the square, Ling Qingzhu and Qing Tan stood quietly. However, within 1,000 feet of them, over 100 powerful Black Spirit clan warriors were gathered. Both Ling Qingzhu and Qing Tan knew this was an equivalent exchange. If Lin Dong harmed Hei Ling'er, these warriors would likely attack them without hesitation. It was difficult for the Black Spirit clan to deal with Lin Dong because of his terrifying strength, comparable to a fully perfected Earth Supreme. But capturing Ling Qingzhu and Qing Tan, both at the Supreme stage, would be a far easier task. Ling Qingzhu and Qing Tan watched Lin Dong, holding a trust that no one else could understand. They believed that Lin Dong, a man who often created miracles, would succeed. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Lin Dong and Hei Ling'er stood face to face in the center of the square. Hei Ling'er's dark eyes gazed at Lin Dong, and Lin Dong reached out his hand. "Do you trust me?" Lin Dong asked with a slight smile. Hearing this, Hei Ling'er seemed to ponder for a moment before nodding and extending her soft, fair hand to Lin Dong. As their hands met, Hei Ling'er immediately felt a strange force flow from Lin Dong's palm into her body. This force was neither spiritual energy nor divine soul power, but pure natural energy from the world itself. Under the influence of this natural energy, Hei Ling'er felt her entire body relax. The coldness brought by her bloodline vanished instantly, leaving only a soothing sensation that seemed to merge with the world. As Hei Ling'er's body entered a highly relaxed state, Lin Dong seized the opportunity to probe her entire being. His probe not only locked onto the bloodline within her, but also spread through every cell of her body. As Lin Dong surveyed Hei Ling'er's condition, the square fell into absolute silence. Everyone held their breath, afraid that even the slightest sound would disturb Lin Dong, who was now examining the bloodline power within their clan leader's daughter. Hei Ming and the others shared the same concern, but at this point, they could no longer stop Lin Dong. All they could do was wait for this young man to create another miracle. As everyone silently observed, Lin Dong's probe into Hei Ling'er's condition began to show results. He focused on the bloodline power flowing through her veins, and he immediately detected the faint chill emanating from it. "It really is similar," Lin Dong muttered to himself. During his probe, he confirmed that the cold power hidden within Hei Ling'er's bloodline was almost identical to the one within Qing Tan's body. Of course, compared to that, the chill within Hei Ling'er's bloodline was far stronger. Lin Dong remembered how he had used the ancestral stone to absorb the chill from Qing Tan's body, but now the ancestral stone was left in the martial realm. Lin Dong hadn't brought it with him. Yet, he wasn't worried about this issue. The ancestral stone had been created by the ancestral talisman master, and now, Lindong's strength far exceeded that of the ancestral talisman master. The difference between Xun'er and Qingtan lies in the fact that the latter's chilling force was directly extracted using the ancestral stone and condensed into a cold energy crystal. When absorbing the cold energy within Qingtan's body, Lindong did not need to worry about any bloodlines being damaged. However, the bloodline flowing within Xun'er's body is that of the Black Spirit Clan. If the cold energy attached to this bloodline were to be directly extracted, it would cause significant harm to her bloodline, something the Black Spirit Clan would never accept. But Lindong thought of another solution. Since this cold energy couldn't be extracted or suppressed, he would have to use the method that seemed the least bad in his current view. With this thought firm in his mind, Lindong activated the upgraded Earth artifact, Buzz. A soft, clear light radiated from Lindong's body, and immediately, a shadow the size of a palm shot out from his back. This shadow emitted a dark golden glow. As everyone watched, the shadow expanded across the plaza. It was a massive dark golden platform, several thousand feet wide. The materials used to forge this platform were not gold, but a highly powerful artifact material. Upon this enormous dark golden platform, there were dozens of massive black palaces, each about hundreds of feet in size. Within each black palace, colorful light emanated, and when people looked inside, they saw an array of wondrous treasures. There were items floating in midair within these black palaces, all of them reaching the level of divine artifacts. Some even appeared to have a faint aura of top-grade divine artifacts. Each black palace contained over 1,000 divine artifacts, and with dozens of black palaces on the platform, the number of divine artifacts before everyone reached tens of thousands. Such an exaggerated stockpile. If the Black Spirit Clan were to be emptied out, they would not even possess a third of these divine artifacts. This platform, which held tens of thousands of divine artifacts along with the Black Palaces, was the Xun'er Palace that Lindong had transformed after returning from the Great Thousand Meeting to the Martial Realm. Previously, the Xun'er Palace could only be considered a low-grade divine artifact, and the so-called divine items it produced were merely spiritual items from the Great Thousand World. Such things were far from meeting Lindong's needs, or the needs of the Martial Realm. So, after searching for some higher-level materials from the Great Thousand World, Lindong directly upgraded the Xun'er Palace, aiming to elevate it to the Earth Artifact level. The Divine Artifact Terrace. This was the upgraded version of the Xun'er Palace, and the treasures created within it were all divine artifacts. For every 10 low-grade divine artifacts, one would be of mid-grade. For every 10 mid-grade divine artifacts, one would be of high-grade. And for every 10 high-grade divine artifacts, a supreme artifact, or even a priceless treasure, might emerge. Now, the Martial Realm had 2 divine artifact terraces. In addition to the one in Lindong's possession, the other was controlled by Xiao Yin and Xiao Jiao, and their goal was to forge a defense army, fully equipped with divine artifacts. At this moment, countless Black Spirit Clan experts were staring at the divine artifact terrace suspended in midair. Upon seeing such a supreme treasure, they truly realized the strength of the outside forces. At least within the self-secluded Black Spirit Clan, there was no such thing. If there were, it could only have come from the ancient Black Spirit Clan. Buzz. Under everyone's watch, a white light emanated from one of the black palaces on the divine artifact terrace. This light gave off a gentle feeling, as if everything beneath it would be balanced. Soon after, the white light shot out from the black palace and fell into Lindong's hand below. It was a stone seal that looked very similar to the ancestral stone. It's the ancestral stone. Seeing the stone seal in Lindong's hand, Ling Qingzhu and Qingtan immediately recognized it as a type of stone talisman seal, similar to the ancestral stone. Qingtan looked at Lindong, thinking to herself, could he be planning to use the same method as before? But if he did, wouldn't it harm the bloodline of the Black Spirit Clan? Meanwhile, He Ming and the Grand Elder, along with others, were also watching Lindong. After a moment, they all saw Lindong slowly move his hand, holding the stone talisman, and pressed it against Xun'er's body. The stone talisman, about the size of a third of a fist, seamlessly integrated into Xun'er's body. Everyone held their breath, watching the vast plaza ahead. At this moment, He Ling'er was in the most relaxed state she had been in, but even so, He Ming, who stood outside the square, clenched his fists and anxiously watched the situation between Lin Dong and He Ling'er. He was more worried than anyone else about one question. Would Lin Dong succeed? Buzz. As the stone talisman fused into He Ling'er's body, a gentle white light spread out from within her, enveloping the area within 100 meters. Under this soft white light, everything seemed to calm down. Even the air itself seemed to slow its flow. The silence in the square lasted for several minutes, and nothing happened. Upon seeing this, He Ming and the others, as well as Ling Qingzhu, let out a sigh of relief. While they still weren't sure if Lin Dong had succeeded, at least things hadn't gotten worse. However, just as everyone started to relax, Lin Dong, standing at the center of the square, slowly narrowed his eyes into a thin line. Only he knew that the real trouble was just beginning. Sure enough, as Lin Dong squinted, what he had anticipated began to unfold. He Ling'er's body, which had been relaxed for several minutes, slowly tensed up. It was as though her body sensed a strange cold, and she began to shiver. Her muscles tightened, and she tried to squat down, curling into a ball. Seeing He Ling'er's sudden movement, everyone outside the square began to change their expressions. He Ming's face also shifted. He understood better than anyone the significance of He Ling'er's reaction. This was the precursor to the eruption of the cold energy within her. He Ming tried to rush into the square, but he was stopped by the Grand Elder's hand. "Wait a little longer," the Grand Elder said to the anxious He Ming. Hearing this, He Ming could only grit his teeth in frustration. He knew that the eruption of the cold energy wouldn't endanger He Ling'er's life, but seeing his daughter in such torment still pained him greatly. Inside the square, Lin Dong watched as He Ling'er trembled from the cold energy within her. She slowly crouched down, but Lin Dong reached out, placing his warm palm under her. Feeling the warmth of Lin Dong's hand, He Ling'er instinctively leaned into it, as if she had found a drop of water in the barren desert, desperately seeking any heat she could get. Lin Dong's expression was extremely serious. The scene before him, with He Ling'er enduring this cold energy, reminded him of the suffering Qing Tin had once gone through. The pain caused by this cold force was unbearable, and Lin Dong could hardly watch. Big brother, I'm so cold. He Ling'er clung to Lin Dong's hand, her voice trembling. At that moment, Lin Dong extended his other hand, gently placing it on her head. Lin Dong slowly crouched down and comforted her. "Trust me. Relax your body. It'll be over soon." Okay. He Ling'er nodded weakly. Her body trembled, but with sheer willpower, she forced herself to stand up again. Lin Dong couldn't help but admire her resolve. After all, in front of him stood only a girl who had just been a child a few years ago. Considering that she had likely undergone many such cold energy eruptions in the past, it was no wonder her perseverance had been forged through repeated trials of this torment. "Give me 1 minute," Lin Dong said to He Ling'er, who nodded and steadied herself once more. However, just as she did, a burst of cold energy finally erupted from within He Ling'er's body. The scale of the eruption was so vast that it transformed the area around her and Lin Dong into a zone of freezing cold. The moisture in the air crystallized into countless ice shards that fell from the sky like snow. "Ah!" He Ling'er's scream echoed as the cold energy burst forth, more intense than any previous eruption. He Ming's face changed drastically at the sight. The previous eruptions of He Ling'er's cold energy had never been of such a scale. It was clear that the stone talisman Lin Dong had inserted into He Ling'er had something to do with this. Crack! The cold energy that exploded from He Ling'er turned the air within hundreds of meters into a mist of ice shards. No one could see what was happening inside the mist, except for those powerful enough to transcend spatial boundaries, whose piercing sight could penetrate the layers of space. At this moment, the entire body of He Ling'er was encased in white ice crystals, and to everyone's shock, they could no longer sense any life force within her. Swish! Seeing He Ling'er's condition, He Ming could no longer hold back. He broke through the Grand Elder's obstruction and rushed toward Lin Dong in the square. However, as He Ming made his move, He Ling'er's body suddenly released another force. A fiery symbol, like flowing magma, appeared at the center of Xun'er's brow, covered in white ice shards. Immediately, a wave of hot energy spread out from Xun'er's body. Under this heat, her previously trembling, pale body stopped shivering and was replaced by an overwhelmingly comfortable sensation. The coldness within a radius of several hundred feet around Xun'er also dissipated under the warmth. As the flame symbol emerged, the white ice shards around Xun'er melted and evaporated. Ming, who was standing beside Dong, watched this scene with a slight daze. He could sense that within Xun'er's body, there were two symbols. One was the flame symbol on her forehead, and the other was the stone symbol within her body. Under the coordination of these two symbols, the cold power within Xun'er's body was completely neutralized. Not only that, when the cold energy was neutralized, it transformed into pure, gentle spiritual energy that flowed within Xun'er's body. Big brother, is it successful? Feeling the warmth spreading through her body, Xun'er gave a faint smile toward Dong. Her body softened, and she lost consciousness, falling forward into Dong's arms. Yes, it's successful. Dong smiled gently as he caught Xun'er, who had lost consciousness, and then picked her up. Dong turned around and slowly walked to Ming, handing the sleeping Xun'er over to him. After receiving Xun'er, Ming immediately used his spiritual energy to check her condition. The results shocked him. Ming felt that the bloodline and the hidden cold power within Xun'er's body were now in an unprecedented balance. This balance was formed by the hot energy released from the flame symbol, which counteracted the cold power. The stone symbol served as the medium to carry these two opposing forces. In the past, the Black Spirit Clan had tried to find a hot energy capable of balancing the cold power, but while finding the hot energy wasn't difficult, the challenge was finding a medium that could carry both forces in equilibrium. Now, Dong's stone symbol had successfully become the medium between the cold and hot powers. With this balance and medium, Xun'er would no longer need to worry about the torment of cold energy. Moreover, if this power balance were properly cultivated, Xun'er's talent would undoubtedly rise to a new level, which was why Ming was so excited. Swish! Swish! At that moment, two sounds of air breaking came, and then Ling Qingzhu and Qingtan's figures descended from the air, standing beside Dong. Dong, Elder Song, and the others have delayed some time in the mysterious celestial realm. We should hurry now, Ling Qingzhu said to Dong. Hearing Ling Qingzhu's words, Dong's gaze once again shifted to Ming. Clan leader Ming, I think it's time we discuss some matters. Looking at the excited Ming, Dong said directly, about the alliance between the martial realm and the Black Spirit Clan. Upon hearing Dong, Ming snapped out of his excitement. However, he didn't respond immediately and instead looked toward the Grand Elder behind him. Buzz. When Ming's gaze shifted to the Grand Elder moved and appeared in front of Dong and the others. Before the alliance, I have a question to ask. The Grand Elder addressed Dong. Senior, you want to ask if the flame symbol and the stone symbol can be mass-produced, right? Dong answered for the Grand Elder. Correct. If we can only solve one person's cold energy problem, it won't be of much use to my Black Spirit Clan. You should understand this. The Grand Elder said. Mass production isn't a problem for me, but there are two other issues. Dong said. The first is the material issue. The Black Spirit Clan can handle the materials. The Grand Elder replied. What's the other issue? My method just now should have revealed something to you. This balance of bloodline power is also gradually altering the Black Spirit Clan's bloodline. Although the bloodline might become stronger over time, the Black Spirit Clan's bloodline will no longer be the same as it is now. At that point, the bloodline will carry both cold and hot powers. Dong asked the Grand Elder, do you want to preserve the ancestors' legacy or become stronger? Then let's modify the bloodline of the Black Spirit Clan to make them stronger. The Grand Elder replied. It seemed as though he had already made up his mind, and his response was so quick that even Dong was taken aback. Even Ming and the others looked at the Grand Elder in disbelief. Thousands of years ago, before the last ancestor of the Black Spirit Clan passed away, he spoke a few words to me. The Grand Elder continued. Ming and the others knew that it was indeed true. As the Grand Elder had said, he was the only one in the entire Black Spirit clan who had ever interacted with the ancient ancestors. What exactly had the last ancestor said to the Grand Elder before he passed? The words of the last ancestor were very simple, the Grand Elder said. His next words echoed in the ears of everyone present. For a race to advance and grow stronger, there is nothing that cannot be discarded. Bloodline power, which is something that only arises during the path of advancement. What significance does it truly hold? The Grand Elder's words left everyone present in shock, but only Lin Dong and a few others truly understood the meaning behind them. Only Lin Dong could comprehend the will of the many ancestors of the Black Spirit clan. Because, when they broke through the shackles from the lower realms, they had nothing at the beginning. Staying in the lower realm, one could indeed rule a small world, but when they arrived in the Great Thousand Worlds, what they could rely on was not bloodline power, nor their background from the lower realms, but their own willpower and convictions.